Good evening everybody, it's Supercar575 here and welcome to my third birthday week video. Now, yesterday I did a top 5 for you, my top 5 Need for Speed games. And I thought it was alright, I guess, but bear in mind it was my first one, so I thought I'll try again and do another one for you. But this time I'm going to do my top 5 racing games. And, shock and awe, there's no Need for Speed in this one. Which is unfortunate to the fans. I'm really sorry about that. But again, this is all matter of opinion. So if you have a different opinion, let me know as always. Okay, and I'm going to try and be quicker as well. Right, let's start with number 5. Now, for number 5, I thought I'd go for a good old simulator game, like Need for Speed Shift or something like that. And in fact, this is the first game I ever queued up at midnight to get. And I tell you, I ain't doing it again. I ain't doing it again. Sod that. But anyway, here's number 5. It is Gran Turismo 5. Now, as you know, it's made by Polyphony Digital, which is of course in Japan, and they are responsible for one of the most famous racing simulator series ever. In fact, it's this very series that has spawned the GT Academy. And in the GT Academy, you can become a real racing driver. In fact, this game really does help you to do that because you analyse tyres. In fact, you just analyse your entire car's performance and the track because it has dynamic weather changes. So it can be at 1 minute it can be completely dry, the next it could be pouring with rain. So the environments are varied. But there's only one reason why this is number 5, and that's to do with several reasons. Because the tracks are now, well, they're still varied as such, but we've seen them before in past games. Apart from some of the newer ones like the kart tracks, or as in go-kart tracks. I sound like car, but never mind. We've also seen the new X route, which is that giant oval, but it's just purely for speed testing. And the other one is to do with the cars. Now, they've done an achievement with this. They've got more than 1,000 cars in this game, which is a massive achievement. But there's a problem with the list. 200 of them, or just about 200 of them, are premium cars where they're all fully detailed. And the rest are all lifted from Gran Turismo 4 or Gran Turismo PSP and given them a rehash. And it doesn't seem to work. I mean, questionably, the Bugatti Veyron, the fastest car in the world, is a standard car, yet the Fiat 500, the classic from 1960, is a premium. And that doesn't seem right to me for some reason. I can't get my head around that. And also, there's not much variety. A majority of the cars in this are Japanese. There aren't that many American or British and so on and so forth. So that's why that's number 5. It's a real big shame. Anyway, I did ramble on that. Sorry about that. Let's go on to number 4. Now, I'm going back to the arcade races for this one, and let's say this series has grown on me properly since the first game that I bought. Actually, since the first one I bought for when I've got my first PS3 for the first time, and then I got the second one and it improved, and the third one is truly apocalyptic. MotorStorm Apocalypse is my number 4 racing game because, well, it's epic. It's the most epic racing game I've ever played. You have fully destructible environments. When I say fully destructible, the environments destruct on their own. You don't expect it. You're like, oh my god! And it's just out there. You've got different classes of vehicles as well. You've got the good old dirt bikes. You've got choppers. You've got ATV quads. You've got supercars, trucks, monster trucks. They're even better. But one of my favourite classes is, I think you've got the rally cars, and you've got my favourite class is the buggies. I love the buggies in this game. They're awesome. And for MotorStorm Apocalypse, well, the environment is a city environment where a massive earthquake has happened and the whole city's evacuated, but it's open for you to play. It is just brilliant. I love it. But it's also part of the reason why it's number 4, because after a while you get used to the environments and you know, in a way you kind of know what to expect. Even though it looks awesome, it sounds awesome, it just kind of gets, I don't know. in a way, repetitive. Dare I say that for a Motorstorm game? It's unbelievable. But, yeah. Oh well. Anyway, let's move on. I know I'm probably talking bullshit, but there you go. Anyway, number 3 in my list. Now, for number 3, this is a game that I've actually waited for ages, since, oh God, where was it? Probably since when the PS3 was first announced. And this one was made by a former studio, which has really sadly closed. And it's a great shame because they made such awesome games, and one of the recent incarnations was for the PlayStation Vita. And of course I'm sticking with the racing genre. What do you expect? This is Wipeout HD Fury. Now, for me, this game, well, I actually bought this game twice. On my old PlayStation Network account, which is now probably defunct, for this, I actually bought it on the PlayStation Network. This is originally a PlayStation Network game, which has managed to make it into a full retail release. And this, if you've still got the PSN version, this is the best downloadable game you can find right now. I mean, there are many others, but this, in terms of a racer, this one is the dog bollocks. You have a total of 12 ships, and they're ranging from the good old classic teams like Pfizer and AG Systems and Piranha. You also have Mirage, which is one of the, I think it's a United Arab Emirates team, according to the actual store, in a way, the history of the game, or history inside the game's story, or something like that. You also have, I think in this one, you have, well, I'm actually reading the blurb, you have 14 circuits, plus another 4 zone mode tracks, and zone mode is actually the best mode you can think of. And zone mode in Wipeout HD Fury, at least, has very varying changes to the graphics system, where you're racing along, slowest class in Sub Venom, where the environment's all blue, but then when you get up to something like Rapier, it suddenly changes to a sort of golden yellow and purple track, and then all of a sudden when you go up to Zen mode, it goes black and white. It's mental. In fact, it's also why it's number 3, because this game didn't have a very easy start in life. They actually had trouble with sieges, and believe it or not, in the first early builds, because in the zone mode you had equalizers that went along in the track, and all of them were white. And if that kept flashing in front of you, someone would have an epileptic fit. So they had to kind of dumb it down, but it still looked good. No denying it, it still looks good, but unfortunately, yeah, it didn't have a very easy birth. But still, if you're looking for a futuristic racing game, get yourself a copy of this. It's worth it, trust me. Right, let's move on to number 2. Now, for number 2, I'm going back to a sort of a simulator type game, but this one is actually made a very, very famous series, and it's recently taken up, not recently taken over, and sorry about that. And in the past series of this game, it was known as Colin McRae Rally, but since his tragic death back in 2007, it's been taken up by a youngish American rally racer. You all know him as the master of Gymkhana, Ken Block. Dirt 3 is my number 2 racing game because it runs on the latest Ego engine by Codemasters, and it just looks amazing and plays amazing as well. And if you've got a racing wheel, this is unbelievable because you actually feel every surface change in your fingertips, whether it's on snow, tarmac, gravel, sand, whatever. Every bump, you feel it. You actually feel it in your fingertips. It's frankly even better than Gran Turismo, because rally mode. It's strange because, and also this version here, forgive my silly voices, this version here introduced the Gymkhana mode for the first time. If you wanted to be Ken Block in his Gymkhana videos, which are awesome, you can do that at the Batty Power Station compound. And you can also do it in the recent Dirt Showdown, which unfortunately isn't featured because that's more of a fun arcadey type, whereas this one was the more serious rally racer. And I never really got into Dirt originally, but since I then played the Dirt demo, I thought, initially I thought, boy, didn't really like this. But then I grew into it more, and I really got used to how it played, and it was really it was bloody amazing. And the damage system in this is just unbelievable. I never saw a damage like this before. And of course, you had all different classic rally modes, where you had the classic stage rallying, where you can drive cars like Ken Block's Ford Fiesta, as you can see on the front. You can go for the classic Audi Quattro, the Lancia Delta Integrale. Also, you can drive modern rally cars like the Subaru Impreza, the Evo. You can drive loads of stuff, including Colin McRae's Mark I Escort. That's a good feature to have. In fact, that car was featured in Dirt 2. It's a shame this is number 2, actually, because my number 1 game is more worthy of the place, which we're going to get onto now, actually. Now, for my number 1 game, I'm speaking as a Gran Turismo fan. Forza Motorsport 4 is the greatest racing game I've ever played by miles. As we know, Forza Horizon is literally on the horizon very soon. And this, I have many, many reasons why this is better than GT5. The physics feel more realistic somehow. You don't feel tied down to the track. You have a bit more freedom in what you can drive. Every car in this game, there's coming up to at least 900 different cars now, and each car is a premium car. The interiors are detailed, the headlights are detailed, everything is detailed in this, fully. That's how you make a realistic simulating game, Polyphony Digital. I'm sorry to sound like that, but it's true. If you've played this, you'll know. And I should know that because I've seen pictures, and you've got an Xbox 360 in your lounge, and you've got Dirt on there, so that's fair enough. And also, this game introduced a little unique car experience, which is used by Kinect, which I don't have. It's called Auto Vista, where you can explore the full details of a given car. Let's take the car on the front, for instance, the Ferrari 458 Italia. Now, in Auto Vista, they've pushed the detail even further than you can ever think of. If you've got a full high-def TV, which I'm pretty sure you have, you can see the writing on the bolts. On the bolts! Take the hint. And that's why this is number 1. It's so a motorist's heaven. Much like Gran Turismo is, but this collection is more varied. You have more variety of Italian, American, German, British, Japanese. All countries are in this game, even the Swedes and the Danes. How about that? The Swedes and the Danes are in this. And one of my favourite Swedish cars, the Koenigsegg CCX. Oh, yes. And of course, they recently introduced the Porsche pack, which they managed to get the license off EA, or managed to get another license as well as EA. I don't know the full story, but they included 30 Porsches in that pack. 30, and it's about 800 Microsoft points right now. That's good going for my value. So there we go. I'm sorry if I've rambled or stammered, but I keep doing that somehow. So I'll probably will explain why I stammer and all that kind of shit. Maybe in another video. I don't know. I don't know when I'll do that one. But yeah, so I give you my top 5 racing games, and this is your number 1. Forza Motorsport 4. I hope you've enjoyed it. So, without further ado, this has been Supercar 575, and you've been watching my top 5 racing games. Take care of yourselves, and let me know what your racing games are. I'd like to know. See you soon.